But when we see the hearing yesterday, a lot of questions about impeachment. We talk about three distinct things: bribery, abuse of power, things that could go into articles of impeachment. Why would the public not think that the House is dead set on a course to impeach the president when all of this milieu is going on?
Well, all this milieu is a seeking of the truth. It's called an inquiry. And if the president has something that is exculpatory, Mr. President, that means you have anything that shows your innocence, then he should make that known. And that's part of the inquiry. And so far, we haven't seen that, but we welcome it. And that's what an inquiry is about.
First off, the extent to which Nancy Pelosi knows exactly how to get under Trump's skin cannot be overstated. And we've seen this before, with Speaker Pelosi coming out in front of the public and taking swipes at a man whose entire persona is predicated on being a bully. Just weeks ago, Pelosi came out and said this.
I pray for the president all the time, and I tell him that. I pray for his safety and that of his family. I think now we have to pray for his health, because this was a very serious meltdown on the part of the president.
To which Trump responded, Nancy Pelosi needs help fast. There is either something wrong with her upstairs or she just plain doesn't like our great country. She had a total meltdown in the White House today. It was very sad to watch. Pray for her. She is a very sick person. What we're seeing over and over is that Pelosi has figured out how to use Trump's attacks right back against him. And it drives him nuts because he doesn't know how to respond to his own strategy. And look, the reason that Trump has been successful so far is that generally, full-grown adults don't need to lob schoolyard insults at other adults. So Trump has been able to get away with it without any pushback. Even when Trump does it, they'll still refrain from responding in kind because, again, the whole full-grown adult thing. But as we're seeing now, when people do start to push back like Pelosi has learned to do, he loses his mind. And rest assured, he'll come back with something because the top priority for Donald Trump is to never let anyone else get the last word. Although what he should probably focus on is his impending impeachment. And Pelosi offers him the chance to absolve himself, which will undoubtedly go unanswered, considering if Trump had anything, he'd have released it months ago. Instead, the White House has been desperately throwing whatever half-baked excuse they could cook up at the Democrats almost on a daily basis. They've claimed that the whistleblower is a partisan despite not even knowing who the whistleblower is. They claimed you can't come forward with secondhand information despite it being perfectly legal to file a complaint with secondhand information. When Alexander Vindman came forward with firsthand information, they claimed he was a double agent for Ukraine. They claimed that Adam Schiff personally counseled the whistleblower even though he's never met the whistleblower, and it was his staff who correctly advised the whistleblower to seek legal counsel and file a complaint with the Intel Community Inspector General. They said impeachment was unconstitutional despite it being in the Constitution. They said that Democrats were playing by unfair rules in the impeachment inquiry even though the rules were passed by Republicans in 2015. They said Democrats were holding secret impeachment hearings in the basement of the Capitol even though any Republican who was on the appropriate committee was able to be involved. They said that there was no quid pro quo, then they said that there might have been a quid pro quo but that it's not a crime, and then they said that they do quid pro quos all the time. We have been subjected to a bottomless barrage of BS Republican talking points, none of which hold water. The fact is, if they had an excuse, any excuse, that was actually legitimate, they wouldn't need to bounce around from one justification to the next every single day. And look, if we're being honest, it's because there is no excuse. Trump got caught trying to extort a foreign country for help in the next election. He withheld military aid to a country under attack until he could exact the promise of an announcement of an investigation into Joe Biden. He released his own summary of the call, showing that he asked for a favor. He admitted on national television that the purpose of the call was to get Zelensky to open that probe. He then asked China to open an investigation into Biden. He tried to hide the summary of the call in a secure server because he knew it was incriminating. He blocked administration officials from responding to legally binding subpoenas to testify in front of Congress. We've heard from witness after witness that Trump conditioned the release of the aid on Zelensky investigating his political opponent. The evidence that Trump committed a crime is absolutely overwhelming, and the fact that all he has are BS excuses backed up by Jim Jordan and Matt Gaetz doesn't help his case at all. So if Trump is as innocent as he says he is, now would be a good time to bring forward anything that is actually exculpatory. And in case he forgot,
Mr. President, that means you have anything that shows your innocence.